A couple of other things that people... I want to ask you... I'll give my own opinion first about Mourinho. As a coach, I've always kind of looked at the record over the period that we've known him now, which goes back perhaps 15 or more years. And there's no arguing with what he achieved at Porto, Inter, Chelsea first time round, to a lesser extent at Real Madrid, although he ended up winning La Liga with Real Madrid against that great Barcelona side, but not by very savoury tactics and behaviour. But in the last... I didn't think it was a good fit for Manchester United when we went there, and now in the last 2 to 3 months, I find his behaviour, his demeanour, his behaviour, his walking out of press conferences the other day after 6 seconds, to be mysterious in a way. Can't explain it rationally. And I think they've got a huge match coming in 2 days' time, 48 hours' time, against Ajax with the prize of a Champions League place. And I think he feels trapped. I think his behaviour is demoralising potentially for players. And I think that club has a big problem. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think a club like Manchester United, unless you've got a Ferguson doing what he's doing, is going to have problems. I mean, I would agree with you most of the stuff about... I don't like him. I don't think he's a nice individual. He's been a great coach. But he hasn't built a dynasty anywhere.
No.
He seems to be a short-term coach, falling out with people. And I think the main source of that, I think he's an immature individual.
Yes.
I don't think he's just immature in his way, and I think he can't take any criticism. Like if the team are not doing well, like he did at the start of the season, or at Chelsea, for example, when he started, he humiliated the doctor, which had nothing to do with football really. He actually humiliated John Terry, took him off at half time.
Yes, at Manchester.
He humiliated Hazard.
Yes.
So these great players from the previous season. It's not me, somebody else. Mkhitaryan at the end of the start of the season, he took him off at half time against Manchester City. Yeah. It's not my fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And Shaw humiliated. He had to go at Rashford. He's had to go at quite a few players, because it's not... He can't take any blame himself, in my opinion. Yeah. He can take the success in a big way. So ultimately, you fall out with the players. You know, as a player, if the manager's doing it, even now, I'd say the Manchester United players wouldn't like Mourinho, because he's had to go quite and Rooney.
That young lad Mbappe at Monaco, who is the hottest player. He's 18, but very mature lad. Said he didn't want to go to Manchester United because he didn't like Mourinho and the way he played football. But you wouldn't like Mourinho anyway. You wouldn't like to expose yourself to football.
I think he's a great coach. I think he's been a great coach. I think what he's done is remarkable. I just think as an individual, I think he ultimately fell out at Real Madrid. He fell out with Chelsea last year. He has that in him. I think that if things like where Conte was great this year, remember early on, and we lost the matches. You said didn't blame anybody.
No,
just got on with the job. Like if that was Mourinho, we'd be blaming said that we didn't do this. But that's my take on him. He's a big job to do at Manchester United. I think he said that this is the most important match in Manchester United's history to win this. Will it be one of the most important? I wouldn't put it down as the most important. I think it's the most important for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a big match for him. I don't think it's the biggest match in Manchester United's history. I mean, the 68 European Cup final was a massive match for Matt Busby. Full redemption for, not full redemption, but some kind of redemption for Munich, and there's so much riding on it. But if anyone has done anything to create circumstances in which Manchester United may blow a golden opportunity, it's Jose Mourinho. Yeah.
Well, you see, I was talking to somebody this morning, Eamon, actually, saying about if he wins the 2 cups, it's been a very, very successful season. I don't think so, because it's a while ago since he opted out of 4th place to win the Europa Cup.
Yeah.
Now, I think if it was a really good season, they'd be well in 4th place.
If he'd had faith in his team,
whatever it might be,
he would have gone.
Whatever it might be, but I don't think because of winning. I mean, this is 2 competitions he moaned about, the League Cup, as we call it, League Cup, and the Europa Cup. So I think it's I would judge him on where he finished in the Premiership. That European spot should have been a given, actually, with what they had and the money that was spent. Not going back maybe 2 months where he said we're going to concentrate on the Europa Cup. We're giving up fourth spot. I don't think that's a good season, to be honest.